Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of VenTalk. As usual, we have here Venerable Jonathan.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, and myself, don't need to, and I still need lah. I'm from Wisdom United. I am Nicholas. So today we'll be talking about patience. So here we go.
Okay, so when we talk about patience, so Nick, can you give us the definition of patience and provide us with some examples that happen in your life?
Okay, I know faster you're gonna ask me that. So I always prepare. So I actually find the definition from Mr. Google, my best friend. Okay, so what's the definition of patience? The ability to wait or to continue doing something despite difficulties or to suffer without complaining or become annoyed. So, as a filial child, I drive my mom to the to the nearby supermarket to buy groceries. So technically, I sit in the car to wait patiently, right? So I managed to do it. No affliction arise until my mom comes to the car and pass me the groceries. But in fact, what I should do is I should just go with my mom to the shopping mall and get the stuff with her, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is one of the patience that I managed to thought of. Yeah,
That's very nice. Yeah, you can carry the bags for her. Okay, so there are more rooms for improvement, but that's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is patience in the Buddhist term? So patience is disregarding harm done to you, accepting that suffering arises in your mind stream, and being certain about the teachings and firmly maintain belief in them. Okay.
Yes. I think for these 3 points, as we proceed, we will talk more about this.
Right. So after talking about the definition, I'm sure you want to know the benefits of patience, right? So Nick, can you provide some of the benefits that we have from cultivating patience?
Okay, so here we go. As you can see on the screen, we have 6 benefits. Okay, but first, let us discuss the first 2 points, which is no enemies and lesser separation. So before Fasil start explaining, let's start with an example. So for example, I have a big project. Okay, so a very big project that can actually help a lot of people in regards of working experience, and let's say money itself. Okay, so we all know when there's a big project, there's a lot of departments, right? So you have to manage this whole need to manage everything, and sometimes when it's a big project, there will be definitely an accumulation of problems from each different department, right? So because of this, I'm sure, for example, my affliction will arise. I will get frustrated and angry very easily. Okay? So due to lack of patience, right? Let's say due to lack of patience, my affliction arise. Then I'll confirm quarrel. And once quarrel, right, this department will have a problem. Then be a big dispute. Then after that, works won't go through, which is actually a waste of time. Okay, so because of this, I actually have enemies and more separation. So because of this experience, I learned to cultivate patience. If I were to have to patience at that moment, so I totally try to understand the issue. This wouldn't even happen, and definitely I won't have any enemies, and definitely have lesser separation.
Yes, so by practicing patience, I think it stops you from turning away from others' welfare on account of living beings' misconception. So different people have different perspectives, but I think you as a leader, or no, if we want to be a leader, we should listen to and understand others' opinion. So if the other person give the right answer, I think you can reward them or you can say something nice to them. And in the context when you really know the answer and the truth, you can tell them the answer and the truth or find ways to remind them. And by solving their misconception using many ways. So when you have many ways to solve their misconception, I think their perspective on you will change. and you also won't trigger their afflictions. So I think this is a very good way to maintain a good relationship and communication with you and the other friends.
Wow, Pastor, when you say that, something in my memory triggered. Okay, so back then in my secondary school days, A math, okay, it's one of my favorite subjects. My classmate don't believe I managed to find a solution of this question, but never mind. Okay, practice patience, right? So I raised up my hand, asked my A math teacher, even though I know the solution already, teacher, how to do this question? End up, she write the solution, and because it's coming from the teacher itself, my friend wouldn't have any afflictions, because we all know that when a person has afflictions, one will have sufferings. Yeah, so that's one of the subtle ways.
That's a really good example. So do you have any more examples for other points?
Yes, so the other benefits, as you can see on the screen, which is happiness and contentment, no regret, reborn in the happy realms, and engage others. So let me bring you to the next example. So I have one of the youth leaders from Wisdom United to recommend me to eat a very, very delicious vegetarian meal, which is the Soter at Funan Mall. Okay, I'm sure that because she told me with a lot of energy that the food will be very, very good. Okay, so I actually practice patience. I see a long queue, but lucky my mood was good. I managed to wait. Then because of this, I am able to consume good food. I was so happy and have no regret at all. Then when it comes to engaging others, because I was so happy with the good food that I managed to eat, I actually talked to the managers and actually complimented the food.
That's really nice. So by practicing patience, it's actually protecting you from anger. And if you practice it continuously, no, this won't spoil your joyful attitude. So I'm sure everyone wants to have a good meal with your friends and family, right?
Yeah.
So you will be happy in this life. And why do I say this life and not just this life? Because you will get more in the next life. So if you practice patience, you're accumulating good merits and good karma, like building good bonds with the manager and your friends around you and even people in that shop. So with that connection in the next life, if you meet those people, they will have good feelings when they look at you. And this is how we became friends. Okay, so I think, and if your mind is very calm, your mind is clear, you can make the right decision. So I think this will help us in the long run.
Correct. Now, moving on, which is the faults of not cultivating patience, because when we actually want to practice something, it is good to know the best of both worlds, which is the benefit and the fault, so to actually convince oneself to do it. So what are the faults? As you can see down there are 3 points. Okay, so what are the 3 points? Is actually the distracted and disturbed mind, no joy and happiness, okay, which is the misery and suffering, and lastly, great hatred. Okay, same thing. Start with example again. So, same thing, secondary school, A math lesson. Okay, very, very good example. So, let's say I were to actually do a math question, but no matter how many plan A to Z, I still cannot find the solution. I confirm will get a distracted and disturbed mind, right? So, how do I try to solve this? I find my friends for help, but end up my friend is unable to help. But okay, because of the distracted and disturbed mind, I fail to see that my friend actually used a genuine heart to actually take his own precious time to try and help me. Okay, so it's very dangerous when you have a distracted and disturbed mind. Okay, end up I show attitude towards my friend. Wow, this kind of I thought you score very well in your math, but end up also cannot find a solution. I use this kind of attitude to show them, but end up what this cause? Great hatred for both parties, right? Because I'll be like, ayo, top scorer in the school still cannot find solution. Okay, like try to say gossip about him, say things about him. While on the other hand, when my friend try to help me, wow, I helped you, spend my precious time to help you, and you treat me like this. end up making more and more great hatred. So this is not worth it, right, Pastor?
Yeah, it's totally not worth it. And giving your friends bad face, I think your black face, people will dislike you, or you don't look handsome anymore if you show them the black face. And let you try another thing. So next time if you're angry, you try to turn on the front camera of your phone and look at yourself. I think you will get shocked by it. Oh, why is Nicholas looking like this? Or you can even try, if someone is angry, just show them the mirror. I think you'll be shocked. Like, oh, why am I looking like this? Have you tried before?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if I were to see myself with a very, very angry face like this, okay, no one would want to even get closer to me, right, Pastor?
Yes, so even if your friend love you, they won't like to be around you. No, you may explode anytime. So
Yeah.
they're also scared of you.
Yeah, because in this kind of thing, the aura that I emit won't be comfortable. So definitely no one will get near. Okay, moving on. I still have to. The next point is misery and suffering. So bringing you back to queuing at the vegetarian restaurant. Okay, if let's say I lack of patience, right? Okay, queue so long but still unable to eat. Then if I lack of patience, I'll just walk up to the workers and try to scold them, because when affliction arises, you do not care other people's well-being already, right? You only care for yourself. Hey, I want to sit now. I'm very hungry. I want to eat my good food. But showing this attitude to the workers there actually brings more misery and suffering. Why? Because end up the manager of the restaurant will call the security guard and try to pull me out from trouble, right? So end up, okay, because of these actions, because of afflictions and lack of patience, me and my family is unable to have a good meal. Yeah.
Yes, so I think if we are angry, we forget about the goal that we want to achieve, the goal that actually beneficial to us. So what is your goal for that day? I think you want to have a good meal, good dinner with your family members. But then with your anger, you cannot enjoy this meal and you're tormented by the anger. You make the wrong decision. Or normally when we are angry, we will make the wrong decision. So for that day, you scolded the staffs. So if you scold the staff and people around manage to caught it and post it on social media, I think it will destroy your good name. And I'm afraid your friends, when you go back to school or you go back to work, they will show you this video and you'll become very famous for different reasons. So I think this will destroy your good name. And when you go back home, and even if you have a good bed to sleep in, I think you will still suffer because of the sharp pain of the anger.
Yes, correct. Of course, if let's say this kind of attitude actually goes online, I'll be so ashamed and embarrassed, and I will definitely will have a very, very terrible time of sleep, because I'll keep thinking, oh, my action is actually on a social network. It's very scary, as social network can be accessed by everyone in the world, right, Pastor?
Yes.
So yeah.
So this, I think, is a snowball effect. So if you cannot sleep at night, then the next day you'll be very frustrated. So you'll still continue to be angry and giving people the black face. So you'll be cultivating this bad habit of scolding other people and being angry. And when you have small problems, you start to explode. And soon this will be very hard to change once it becomes a habit. So I think we have to be very careful. Once we feel a little bit of like uneasiness and we are feeling that we may get angry anytime, we try to adjust our motivation.
Yes. Always have to adjust, because I'm sure after you guys listening to the benefits and faults, we all know how to adjust ourselves when we actually meet this kind of situations. Then we will be happier.
Okay, so what is our purpose here? We are not just here to talk about the benefits and the faults. Of course, we are here to share about like how can we practice patience. So Nick, do you have any examples on how to practice patience?
Yes. So before I share my example, so how to practice patience? We have 2 points here today. Okay. So what are the 2 points? Which is developing the patience of disregarding harm done to you, and developing the patience of accepting suffering. So let's go to the first point. So disregarding harm done to you. Okay. For one good example is, for example, your friend find trouble with you and end up fighting with you. So I'm sure some of you guys actually face this kind of situation where you're very innocent, you never do anything, but because of misperceptions, misconceptions of your friend, he just put the blame at you. And this is a very, very frustrating. And end up, I'll get angry, then after that we'll fight, and then after that fight, okay, afflictions come out, don't care each other welfare. When it comes to meeting this kind of situation, right? In the end, no resolution one. End up wasting of time, wasting of energy. Yeah.
So I think what is most important is for you to practice patience. But how can we practice patience against people like this? So first we have to know that your friends and his afflictions is separated. So your friends and the anger is separated. It's not the same thing. So your friends may be a very good person, but then sometimes he will be controlled by anger. So just like a servant, he's being controlled by the afflictions and unable to control himself. So as you can see just now, the example that you provided, when you're waiting in the long queue and suddenly you feel very angry and you scold the staff, right? So I think there's a few analogies that I can provide you. So one is when there's a doctor and his patient is being possessed by a spirit or someone that is mentally unstable, and that person started to hit that doctor. But then that doctor, he knows that, okay, so that is not his fault. It's because of the spirit or because he's mentally unstable during that time. So the doctor will not be angry, but he will still try his best to help that person. So like the sage, he will also separate the person and the afflictions from each other. So the affliction is at fault, but not the person, because human being, we try our best to help other people. We want to be happy, and we also want others to be happy.
Wow, Faster, this is so challenging. Okay, especially for in my case, I always get blinded by my eyes. I only see what is going on, and I always think that it's actually he himself who created it instead of the afflictions. I think it's very, very hard to separate of all. But of course, thank you, Faster, for sharing. But after today, I definitely will try to practice. So whenever I meet this kind of thing, I try to make sure I split. But of course, I have to do it with actions. So hopefully, best not to meet this kind of situations.
Yes. But I'm sure you won't want to fight with other people. And let us talk about self-control. Sometimes human beings, we want to have self-control. But then if we have afflictions, it's very hard for us to control ourselves. So there's one example, or there's a lot of example that someone that is very angry or being depressed, they committed suicide. So people, all of us, we love ourselves and we want to do nice things for ourselves. For example, we like to go out with our friends. We like to go like massage or care for ourselves, buy things for ourselves. So we cherish ourselves greatly. But then those people, they are overwhelmed with strong afflictions. They can even kill and hurt themselves. So you can see how strong the affliction is. And if we do not counter the afflictions in the right way, then we will be controlled by them.
Yeah, I'm sure that when one affliction arises, one will not experience inner peace at all. Yeah, so do take note, and I mean, if you happen to actually meet this kind of thing, maybe a slight thought of the word patience maybe will prevent a lot of bad situation from happening. Yeah. Now, moving on, okay, which is also the same point, okay. So, another example again. For example, you are communicating with an angry person. Okay, technically, you know already after the first example, there is no point of communicating because it's a waste of time. Okay, because afflictions cut off the hearing, and we only think for our own self, and knowing that whatever you send across, he or she would definitely disagree. Yeah, because his point and her point is very firm already. Nothing can change it. Yeah.
So I think you need more examples to help you fight with being angry with the other person, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes you can't help that normally we will react based on our emotion. But then look at it, what is our true nature as a person, as a human being? So one, if the true nature of your friend is being angry, just like the fire is being hot and burning, you can't say that, you can't be angry to the fire and say that, why are you so hot? Why do you burn people? Because that is his true nature.
Correct.
So if your friend's true nature is being angry, I don't think you can find any reasons to be angry at that person, just like the fire. And next, if the true nature of that person is not being angry, so that means that person is being controlled by another thing. So you just have to wait for the person to calm down and the angers to go away. Then you can talk to that person when he or she is back to the nature state. When he is calm and just now as we said, people wants to help one another and to create a strong and happy environment. So these are the different ways that we can prove that being angry to the other person is actually not the right choice.
Yes. I think that what we just heard from Fashi is that the most important point is that our nature of being humans is to help people instead of causing suffering and harm to others, which is something that we need to take note of. And of course, I'm learning a lot today.
Yes. So meditate on this benefit until you gain a strong and firm certainty about practicing patience.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we have to definitely meditate and try to think more about it on these benefits. And of course, not forgetting the faults. Okay, moving on will be the second point, developing the patience of accepting suffering. Okay, so let me bring you back to the same example. Let's say the big project. Okay, a lot of departments already, right? Okay, when there's a lot of departments, you know that you're gonna suffer because you need to manage, micromanage, macromanage. You need to do all the small details. You need to manage it properly. Okay. However, if factors like I look down on myself, okay, such small factors, or people tell you that, hey, Nick, this is not for you. You are unable to do it. Then you get affected. And you waste such a big opportunity to try to make this world a better place. Because big project, as what I mentioned, good experience, more money to help people. Yeah, so because of just one factor. So Fasil, how are we able to counter this?
Yeah, so we are scared of suffering. So how can we practice patience to accept suffering? So first, is it right to belittle yourself? Like saying, I have never heard of such things before, or even if I heard it, I could never do something like this, just like the big project, you have it. So if you have thoughts like this, even a small suffering can become the cause for you to turn back from the path. You won't want to do it anymore. Right. So there's an example like cowards. So for example, cowards, if they see the blood of others, they will faint and fell unconscious. So even though this is a big project and they will be suffering because there's a lot of things to communicate, but I'm sure if you see the benefits, it's worth it.
Yes. So I'm sure that if you guys happen to finish a very, very big project, right? Okay, and especially about today's sharing, stepping out of comfort zone, helping, making the world a better place. The feeling of full 100% completion is very, very good one. The feeling is, especially it makes you feel more successful in life. That hey, I did this. I actually benefit more people. I actually help people to create jobs. Isn't that great, guys?
Yes. So if you think about the benefit of doing this thing, then if you develop a certain degree of courage, so even great suffering become useful. So just now we talk about cowards, now we talk about warriors. So how do warriors behave? So warriors entering a battle and using the sight of his own blood, this increases his boldness. So he becomes stronger when he sees his own blood.
Wow, guys, I think it's time to be a warrior already, okay? We have to step out of comfort zone and do the things that benefits more people, okay? Benefits more people.
Nick, I have something for you. So the problem is, it's not hard or not. The problem is you want it or not.
Yes. This is very familiar to what Sifu has said, right?
Yes.
Okay, I also managed to find another quote and would like to share with you. And I actually learned this, which is just yesterday's class. If there is a remedy, then what is the use of frustration? If there is no remedy, then what is the use of frustration? Now, let me tweak this quote a bit for today's class. Okay? So, if there is a solution to the problem already, then what is the use of anger? So, if there is no solution to the problem, then what is the use of anger? So, technically, in short, no point being angry. Because why? Because why? Let's say you got a solution, right? The problem is solved already. So technically no affliction will arise, right? So even if you don't have the solution to the problem, you know getting angry is gonna cause you more suffering. So next day headache, whole body pain is scientific proven. If one get angry, this kind of like body pains or headaches will occur. This one I definitely read it online before.
Yes, Nick. So you're becoming very wise. Now you're a wise man.
Indeed, very, very wise. Of course, thanks to the teachings and of course Fashi for always sharing. Okay, now, so from this, in short, we shouldn't give ourselves excuses to run away from suffering, and we should develop patience to overcome it. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Nick, be a strong man. So after all this, what have you learned today?
Wow. Okay. Today's conclusion. Let's go. Okay. So I actually prepared for this. So let's go. An undisciplined person will never be free from sufferings, as though there is no end, just like how the big space is. So if one doesn't actually cultivate patience, one will always not be happy. It is very hard to enjoy life. Okay, so this is what we need to take note. So how to actually solve this? Through complete conditioning and ethical discipline of your state of mind, you have no enemies. Because why? Because you cultivate and practice patience. Confirm guarantee you will not have any enemies. So remember the first few points of definition of patience. This disregards all harm done to you. So no matter who come and find trouble with you, even you are totally innocent, okay, you won't be affected at all.
Okay, so Nick, this is about internal, you're changing yourself, but what about external? Things outside give us a lot of trouble.
Aha, here we go. So external things are not absolute. Okay, external things are not absolute, meaning the things that you want it to happen, right? There are a lot of factors. So let me continue first. External things are not absolute and are based on depending arising. For example, you see, Fashin and I are hosting VenTalk, right? There are so many factors that can actually cause disruption. For example, maybe the internet is down, maybe the lights is down, but rejoice to us that everything is smooth today. So these are external things that we cannot control. Okay? So if we were to know this and we cultivate anything that happens last minute or out of the blue, you cultivate patience. Okay? This you would definitely first of all, you have full control of your state of mind. And being aware of this, you are accepting the suffering arising in your mind stream. So at that point of time, this problem comes, okay, you accept the suffering, and therefore, so in order to actually solve this, one should first develop complete condition from anger and discipline of the mind.
Okay, Nick, so very nice. So we learned a lot today. Okay, so there's another quote for you guys. So where could you get enough ladders to cover the entire surface of the earth? Wearing just the ladder of your sandals is like covering the whole earth. So similarly, if we cannot change external things, but when I change the state of my mind, why do I have to change anything else?
Yeah. Come to think about it, it is as compared to changing everyone. it is easier to change own self, right, Pastor?
Yeah, there are 7 billion people in this world. You can't change everyone one by one. And not just people, there are objects and stuff like this. So it's quite impossible for us to change the whole world.
Correct, especially when everyone goes is different, everyone thinking is different, everyone levels is different. So yes, I hope through this lesson that everyone actually will try to think about this. How does cultivating and practicing patience will be like? Yeah, so that's all for today, and I hope that you guys enjoyed. So up to the next one, Pastor.
Thank you, Nick, for today's session. And I think we shared quite a lot. But then there's always a lot more to learn. So see you guys next time.
See you. Good night.